Hello everyone and welcome back to day 15 of my Christmas card series. Today I've got a somewhat simple card for you here. I'm using an Art Impressions trifold stamp set. This cute little winter scene with the house and mailbox and snowman. All of the instructions in order to create this trifold card are all on the back card that comes in the packaging, and I already pre-folded my cardstock that I'm going to use. I'm just using some Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I have it cut to 5 by 11, and then I have it scored at 3 5/8 from each end to create this trifold. Again, all the information is, and all the instructions, are on the packaging as well. So I'm going to use my Distress inks to do all of my coloring today. I have a variety of them that I'm going to use. You can use any colors that you want. I just chose some and used my Art Impressions watercolor palette. And I'm also using VersaFine ink because it is a waterproof ink. And I'm using a number 6 Royal Langen-Nickel paintbrush. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get my stamping together. Getting my MISTI tool here. This will be really helpful. Now, because these stamps do not have any imaging on the back so you can line them up, I'm placing them in a general location on the cardstock here as straight as I think they are, and when I swing it over with my MISTI door, I can pick that stamp up and I can use the grids to kind of help line all of that up. Now that I have that first image stamped down and it looks pretty good, I'm going to take the sentiment, the greeting that comes with this stamp set that says warmest wishes for a Merry Christmas, and I'm going to again do the same concept. I'm going to put it in, or excuse me, put it on my cardstock where I believe it is pretty straight, where I want it. Use the grid lines on the MISTI door to align it straight, and then use my VersaFine ink and stamp that down. I'm going to hit it with my heat gun just to make sure that the ink is nice and dry, because it is a pigment ink. It will stay wet for a little while. And I'm going to be flipping this card over, so I don't want to smudge anything so I could stamp the other two images. Next, we're going to take that card and we're going to flip it over, and we are going to stamp the remaining images onto the back flaps. So whenever it folds in, you'll have those images. So what you want to do is you want to line up your stamp to as close as possible to that fold edge, because we will be cutting this and we want to make sure that our image is far enough away from that center image that we don't cover it up when we create the trifold. So again, I'm just using the grids to help line it up, make sure it's nice and straight, and then we'll get it stamped down. I really like how these images are detailed. They're super sweet. I really like Art Impressions. They take a lot of time and effort into creating their images, and I really like them a lot. Gonna get the heat gun out, just make sure that's nice and dry again. And then we can do the other image, this snowman image. And again, we're going to take that and we're going to line it up as close to the fold line as possible, because we will be cutting this part out as well. He was a little bit easier to line up, make sure that it was straight. Get that lined up, inked up, and we'll get ready to start painting. This is the first time that I ever did a trifold card, and it wasn't too difficult. The instructions were really nicely laid out. They give you all the steps on how to do everything, and these images would be beautiful on their own as well, just stamped on the front of a card. I think they would be really pretty. Excuse me. So there we have it. We have all of our images, and I'm not going to do any of the cutting until after I'm done with the painting. I'm just going to tape my card base down here to prevent any warping, because there will be a lot of painting. And once I'm all done with the painting, I will come back and I'll explain to you how I did my cutting, and we'll add a little bit more detail to this nice card. I'm going to be using the stamp packaging, the image that comes with the stamp set, to kind of guide me in my color choices. And again, once I'm all done with the painting, we'll come back and we'll finish up together. Now that the painting is all complete, I just hit it with my heat gun to make sure that everything was nice and dry, carefully removed my painter's tape here, and we'll get ready to do the cutting. So I'm just going to use the pen blades that I have here. You could easily use a pair of scissors, and they kind of give you some instructions or some tips on where to cut these. Again, you could cut them wherever you wanted to. I just kind of traced around the outside of the images and then left a little bit at the bottom so that the card could stand up. I did make a little bit of a mistake. I painted a little bit too much blue in the background, especially behind the snowman. You'll see that a little bit later. I probably would have benefited from just leaving it white behind these two images so that it looked like it was actually in front of the house. But in the end, I still like the way that this turned out. It's a super sweet card. I know exactly who I'm going to give this to this year, and they'll enjoy it no matter what. I really like the way that this turned out. I like the trifold. I'd like to see if maybe I could find a couple of more Art Impressions trifold cards because these were really easy and a lot of fun to do. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving, a nice break. We got a little bit more snow here. We got a little bit of ice as well, but it's still turning out to be a nice season so far. Back to the grind tomorrow, back to work, but still going to enjoy the season, and I hope you all are as well. I can't wait to show you some of the other cards I've got planned. I'm really excited for those. Again, I'm just going to add a little bit of detail here. I'm taking my black glaze pen and adding a little bit of detail to the snowman. And I'm going to take my white glaze pen and add just a few snowflakes here in the background. This is a very snowy scene, so I figured it would be appropriate to add some snowflakes in the background as well. I didn't want to overdo it, and then this is where I noticed where I made my little bit of a mistake, and I tried to fix it with some more paint, but it didn't really work out. I'm not too upset about it. I still like the way this card turned out. And then next I'm going to take my Wink of Stella glitter brush pen and add some glitter. Now you have to be careful because this is a water-based type of pen, and the distress inks are water-based as well, so it will pick up some of the ink, so try not to do it heavy. So now I'm just going to add a little bit to the scene here on the snow to let it glisten and glimmer, and that will finish up this card. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Hope you have a wonderful day. I can't wait to show you guys what I've got planned for Wednesday, and have a fantastic day. Bye!